And hey y'all, Spidey here again with another ranking review. And this one is for Dark Blue Kiss. Now, this is going to be a kind of a long summary because Dark Blue Kiss is sort of a third show in a series of three, maybe 3.5 shows. So I want to kind of make sure I explain this correctly so that there's no confusion, okay? All right, so it's an expansion or continuation of the Pete Cowell story that begins in Kiss Me Again. Now, basically, you have two guys, and they knew each other, for a few years, like when they were still in high school. And so they know each other in that sort of, how you recognize somebody's name or you've seen them around the school, but you were never friends, like you didn't interact with each other or anything, you just know they were there. That's kind of how Pete and Cowell's relationship was when they were still in high school. They didn't run in the same circles. But for whatever reason, because Pete had issues with some of the girls and things who knew Cowell and that sort of thing, through happenstance, they have each other's numbers. So, they know where each other, like, I think it's Pete knows where Cal lives. And I don't know if it was because he had like an assignment together or something and he went to his house once upon a time or whatever the case may be. Basically, even Cal's mother knows who Pete is. So it's, so they're not exactly 100% strangers. They're just not friends. Okay. So getting back to the overall summary here. So Pete himself is a little rich kid and his father owns a company and he pretty much has given Pete permission, as it were, to just be kind of an asshole. Pete runs around getting into fights, obsessing over girls. He's very selfish. He needs to control and own everything. He's a tiny bit of a narcissist in that he knows he looks good. He knows he's desired. And he has a bad habit of assuming that everyone in his world feels the same way. Now, Cowell, on the other hand, I think it's pronounced Cowell. He's from a single parent home and they're struggling financially. He's an excellent student who's super smart, but he's not like the nerdy type. He doesn't take shit off of anybody. He's kind to a fault, he's, sort of the funny reverse Sasuke type, he's mostly quiet, but if you piss him off enough, he will speak up. So because their personalities are not exactly, like Cal's not going to worship the ground Pete walks on, even when they were younger. Pete kind of has that sort of, side eye with Cal. Like he's not an enemy. He's not going to go attack him or anything. He just knows him to be someone that he does not like. Go put it that way. Now, I know that was a long ass summary and it's not even over because that's really just kind of like that's the introduction to their personalities, and they've gone from high school that way into college. Now, mind you, all of this is not explained in one take. This is a show that it's a slow burn. It goes from one to the next, and you have to kind of pick the pieces apart and put them back together. So just so you know, okay? All right, so the two guys are now adults, and they're freshmen in college, and they happen to be in engineering together. And as luck would have it, they're also placed in the same study group. While in this group, they have to pretend to get along. So Cal, who knows that Pete's a bully, doesn't really tell the other guys in the group because, that's not really his style. And Pete, who knows that Cal's not the kind to, bend the knee or do what he tells him to, he gets annoyed, as in his mere presence is just pissing him off. And so that in essence is kind of the backstory. So Dark Blue Kiss, that's the one that this is about. Dark Blue Kiss actually begins once they're in the relationship. They are now seniors in college. They are preparing for real life. They're going on interviews. They're getting into their career fields and so forth. Now, The Dark Blue Kiss series focuses on the reality of how the world really works when you're talking about, first off, men who are in the gay lifestyle in their communities, in their fields. It kind of sheds light on how fast and easy it is to interfere with relationships, which, although may seem strong on the surface, could be fragile due to the fact that it's already one of those where not everyone knows. You don't know who you should tell or who you shouldn't tell. Is it going to affect job interviews? Will it affect your family? So they kind of, they're having to navigate the world of college and adulthood and graduating and all that stuff, while still deciding, is it really worth it to maintain the relationship that they're in? Do they even want to be in it after they've been together for so many years? So this is it's one of those stories where, if this had been told by somebody who was not talented, would drive you up a wall. It really would. But because this one was told by somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, I can happily and peacefully say that this one is a rank 10, a perfect 10, and it goes way beyond the stars. They did an excellent job. Based on that summary, this is one of those films that would more than likely get on your nerves. I mean, one of those, holy fuck, really? But they do, and I mean, for them to take all that's required, keep it realistic, and still keep it entertaining. It has every twist and turn that you would look for in a good romance. It's in here. This is one of those reach for the stars, epic, well told, so much fun. I've watched this multiple times, and I'm still not tired of it. I would probably watch it again. It has just enough of everything. It's not over the top in any direction. The guys are guys. They act like guys. The production quality, the music, the pacing, the storytelling are all on point. The actors are cute. They're nice to look at. The side characters actually they lend to the story without pulling away from it. It really, it's kind of like how original romances were a long time ago. When they used to say, it'll make you laugh and cry and scream into your pillow. It's that kind of film. They cover everything you expect from a really, really good romance story. So in my opinion, this is an excellent, excellent production. And moving on, well, you like it. Now, if you like real love stories, then you'll like it. And I'm stressing the word real here, okay? Because as I mentioned, this is a slow burn. It's one of those where the boys grow on each other in a super slow way. So you're walking through their whole relationship together and having to pull pieces together and figure out, okay, why is he this mad over this issue? Why is he not mad about something you expect him to be mad about? How did this dude get to his house? And, why is it that, the little sister and the mom seem okay with this guy who a minute ago appeared to be the bully? It's one of those. If you're not paying close attention, and you're not watching these in the proper order, that's kind of where the mind goes. So it's sort of like, okay, I'll just wait and they'll explain it in a minute. Because this is one where they kind of go back and forth. So, and Kiss Me, and okay, let me go ahead and tell you which ones are which, okay? So Kiss Me is the first story, all right? Now, this is one of those where, Kiss Me is a hetero story, all right? And Pete and Kyle's story is not really that deep in it. They're there, but they're not significant. They're kind of there for comic relief. And realistically, they allude to the fact that, people are observing their behavior, but nobody really comes out and says anything about it. Which, although I don't really like that show, I think it was important that they did it the way they did it, because it kind of sets the precedence for, now you know why Pete and Cal act the way they do in Dark Blue Kiss when it comes to how they're approaching their relationship. You know, they're not like in a lot of these BLs that are semi-unrealistic. You know, you've got people holding hands, skipping through the halls, hugging and looking on each other. These two don't do things like that. And it becomes apparent if you watch all the shows as to why they navigate the way they do. This is really like a classic money and power story in which they really clearly show you those with money and power make all the rules, and what happens to those who are considered powerless. And then what happens if those two worlds collide? You know, are they really gonna, you know, will the one with power put his future on the line to save the other? And you know, it's really well made. It's also fun to watch. I know I've mentioned all the drama parts of it to a certain extent, but it's fun. It's not easy to watch, but it is fun to watch. You know, every now and then, you know, because it kind of goes up and down in waves. You know, there's moments when you want to go, you know, you go, guy, you know, throughout several parts. And so it's like, and then there are parts that are really hella sad where you just kind of go, wow, you know, that really sucked. So it keeps you on your toes. It's a really great film. There's a lot of drama, and it's like as soon as one thing kind of comes to an end, something else kicks off. So yeah, they really keep you going. But it is nice. I mean, you're watching the favorite characters. They're kind of some of my favorite characters anyway. You're watching them grow with each of the stories, and they do it in such a way that it's still enjoyable and it's entertaining, and you don't really see that in a lot of these films. You know, this one, they just really did it. I you know, hats off. Okay, so now I'll admit one of my favorites is Kiss Me Again, because that's Pete and Cal in their younger years, where they're still behaving like kids straight out of high school, and oh my god, they are hilarious. You know, the things they're doing and how they're doing it, their reactions, they are so natural. I would swear, when I saw that show, I thought, these guys must know each other offset, you know, because they don't look like they're acting in that one. It's almost like, is that really who they are? Because their chemistry is just amazing. I mean, right down to, like, if they're gonna fight, there's no indication they're getting ready to fight each other. It's like, wait a second, you guys are just talking, and now why is one guy on the floor? What happened? It's the kind of thing, like, you know, anybody out there who's a mom and you have, you know, more than one kid, and you walk in the room and it's like, okay, all I heard was a yell, and I have to guess what happened. It's like, everybody freeze, and I'm going to have to figure out, why is the lamp on the floor? Why is your brother's head wrapped up inside of, you know, the extension cord? How did the extension cord get wrapped at the top of the window frame? You know, it's that kind of thing when they're younger, and it's really cute. Now, if you decide to watch all three shows, however, you'll need to buckle in, because these are a really long series. It could take a while to watch them all. But on the plus side, the characters are so well developed and memorable. It's not like you have to keep going back and then, you know, making a note that, okay, this is so-and-so and this is so-and-so. No, they grow on you to where you actually know, you know, who's who. So that's another plus. Okay. So what do you need to know? Okay. This one can be a little hard to understand if you don't watch all three. Even though they did make that shorter Pete Cal version where somebody took all the segments of Pete and Cal and turned it into a short, like a 3-episode show, which is helpful. But that one, although it gives you some backstory, it still has a lot of holes in it. So unfortunately, if you want the whole story, you gotta suffer through at least watching Kiss Me Again. If you don't watch Kiss Me, Kiss Me is not necessary for this. In fact, Kiss Me and Kiss Me Again are almost the same story told over, but they kind of strip it and turn it upside down. It's hard to explain. I didn't like either one of them, because basically it's about a bunch of bitchy, whiny girls who kind can't seem to know their head from their asshole, doing really dumb things, and everybody's standing around watching him do it while they say things like, well, are you sure you love him? And it's like, really? That's your answer to this? Come on, seriously? Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, so, but Kiss Me is a hetero story. Yes, I did find it annoying, and I don't know if you will or not. It kind of depends on your cup of tea. I just don't like dumb broads. Stories that make women look stupid, I don't like. And that one kind of... And these are supposed to be smart women. That's the part that made it so hella annoying. I'm like, this woman has a whole ass business. Why is she running around acting like she doesn't know what's going on between this guy and this other girl? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Anyway, but Kiss Me Again is the starting point for Pete and Cal's story. And they do have some other, there's other characters that are pertinent to their story, but luckily those characters are introduced sort of, towards the end. So you don't really miss who these characters are when they show up. They are pertinent to the story. Let's see. So let me see. All right. So Pete and Kyle's role is kind of small in both Kiss Me and Kiss Me Again, but apparently because of their role in Kiss Me Again, it was like a big hit with the BL fans, and I'm assuming that's how they got their own show of Dark Blue Kiss. Now, Dark Blue Kiss is both their story and then the other male characters that were introduced in Kiss Me Again who become couples on their own on the side. So it's not just a Pete and Cal story. You've got other guys as well, but it's still very well made. So now the chopped up version, it works, but like I said, it to get the real detail, like to understand why is Pete doing a lot of what Pete does, because it's mostly Pete's story that gets lost in the chopped up stuff, because his story is a little more convoluted because he's the one who has the most issues in all reality. Cal's pretty much straightforward. He grows in the show, but he kind of, he's already rather mature, but his circumstances have made him that way, whereas Pete had a lot of growing to do, so you kind of get that if you watch all of them. As far as any trigger warnings, there really aren't any. There's mild violence. There's a bit of homophobia in the secondary story. But overall, it's pretty mild. There's very little sex. It's almost none. In fact, there's not really a depiction of a sex scene. It's kind of alluded to. Now, I don't know if there's another version out here. I've only seen the YouTube version. So as far as I know, there's no actual sex. If I do happen to see one, then that's probably the one I'll watch more often, because it would have been nice to see more sex between them, or seeing real sex, because this is really a G story. It's totally rated G. So basically, in conclusion, to kind of put a pin in it, as it were. If you're gonna watch all these together, then it starts with Kiss Me, followed by Kiss Me Again, and then the Pete and Cal short take is just Kiss Me Again, but just Pete and Cal's part of it, and then that's followed by Dark Blue Kiss. So ultimately, that's the order you would need to watch it in if you want to get the entire nuance of the story. Now, the final point to note in that is that I will put as many of these as I can find in the playlist, but this is an older show, so you can more than likely just kind of Google it and find it on other stations if you can't find all the episodes here. And I think they do. There is one more now that I think about it. I don't know if it's called Our Sky or something like. It's one of those where they did like a wrap up and they went and revisited all of our favorite couples. If I find out which episode that is, then I will put that in this playlist as well, so that all of the Pete and Cal story is in one playlist, and then you can enjoy it at your leisure. Okay. Alrighty, so that was a lot. Oh my God, if you sat through this whole thing, then hats off and power to you, all right? But this is a long ass story, so there's no way for me to cut and paste and sugarcoat this in any way other than if you really want to know how to watch this and enjoy it, I had to tell you, okay? So anyway, and yeah, I'm gonna say everybody's gonna like it. I'm just gonna go out there and say if you like BL, you're gonna like it. That's just my opinion. But again, my opinion might not be yours. So if you don't agree with me, or even if you do, comment in the comment section below and let other fans know how you felt about the story. Because that's what we want to do, is spread the word so people know and don't waste their time watching stuff they're not interested in. Because basically it's another one of those. If you like it, you'll love it. And if you don't, you won't. So anyway, this is Spidera. I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.